this. Let's see. All right, now the microphone works. It's so buggy, this new beta, OBS beta. It's like I tried to do some settings like what worked on the other one, and it just fails. Uh, what? Why is window capture so buggy? How's it going? I'm getting pings from somewhere. I have no idea. Um, it is buggy, 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 buggy. Uh, Anyways, good morning, Zelin, Ixi, Oms, Zuthin, Captain Jetlag. How's it going? Right. So, I was thinking I should work on this one a little bit more. As a comment, from you guys before was I don't do like Finnish stuff. So I thought I'd work on some of that today. Yeah, it's really cool to see your thumbnails on Discord. It's really cool, and yeah, it's exciting to see. Time is ticking though, and some people are were talking about that they had issues with the narrative. Zelin, right? Well, so as you guys had issues with the narrative, or having issues with narrative. Hey Jacob, welcome. Good morning. Bruno Romanos. Yeah, as I was saying, I'm gonna maybe rant a little bit about it today. Hopefully to get you guys on the right track. Hey, Wanamir. Good morning. Welcome. Let's start the timer. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Let's go. Okay, so what I was thinking, like some people contacted me about issues, like they feel like they can't. It's like that there's no point in what they're doing in the sense of the pressure is too high. Um, so I thought I'd just talk about it today because yeah, it is a competition, um, and of course you have to apply yourself. But what's most important in any of these kind of scenarios, and where most people actually do their best work, is not when they're forcing something out, but they're having fun and enjoying being creative. Um, and it's such an easy thing to forget. But I remember from the times where when I did the original like Thunderdome, and the pressure was on. I was up against these big name artists, and I was a beginner, and I was thinking, like, holy, how am I even supposed to, you know, get past round one? But but what's so would has is so important is that you remember that your strengths your strength comes from um, your comfort zone. Your strength comes from your sweet spot. You know, like when when you're creating something and you're just in the zone, having fun, making a painting. That's where you do your best job. So in order to get to that point, you should really try to set it up. You know. Hey, Chilstrand. Good morning. Hey, Captain Jetlag. I maybe said that already. Maybe not. Good morning. Avu the breakfast. Good morning. Good morning. Avu the breakfast. Everyone has a comfort zone in the sense of that's when you are enjoying being creative. That's your comfort zone. Like for me, I know my comfort zone is using brushes. Like I love the idea of um, having textural brush marks. That's my comfort zone. That's where I'm happiest, and designing a monster at the same time. That's I can do that in my sleep. I'm having so much fun doing that. That's where like if I would have to paint something, if you sat me in front of a Wacom and said now you got to show me something, I would do a monster without a doubt. Just right, whatever strange creature my mind can come up with brush marks, and I would just paint it up. Captain Jetlag. No, you missed an opportunity. You said, "Oh, you didn't." I couldn't. I missed. I was away from keyboard. What did you say? And then I would say again, and then you would have it three times. Hey, Quentin, Eric Mui. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Yeah. So, like I said, a lot of people are contacted me having issues. Like with finding the reason the proper candidate to take further. But it's just it's so important to just relax, structure your approach in the sense of do a painting or sketching which you think this would be a cool story, and it doesn't need to be Captain Jetlag. True, and it doesn't need to be anything like revolutionary either. That's what kind of I was trying to say in my summary or my um, what's it called, guidelines or whatever. Is don't try to do something that's too advanced, because first of all you only have 2 weeks. Secondly, doing something easy is hard enough. I mean, this scene would be an advanced scene, right? Because we got multiple characters, we got lots of different actions, this perspective, fisheye lens, distortion, all these things, right? That's a little this so this one would be a little bit more advanced. But the if you think about my forest walker, um, let me find it just so you guys see. Let's see if it shows. This one, right? The idea itself is very simple. He's just walking in the forest. It's a character design, more or less, illustration. But the idea itself is extremely basic. Basic. The idea is that he has a coat of grass and he brings like nature to the forest, right? That could easily be the arrival of the one, which is the topic. He's the one that brings summer to the forest. And the idea itself is very basic, but it's the strength lies in the simplicity of the interaction between the elements of the painting. So when you're trying to craft your idea, it doesn't need to be anything extravagant. It has to be a clean solution. And if that clean solution is advanced with multiple characters, or just one single character doing something great, and that's going to be lie in the execution of that simplicity, right? So if you're going to draw one character standing and he's the one, or she is the one, a princess coming from faraway lands maybe, then that's is what the painting has to be about, this person. Or if you're gonna show a big alien spaceship arriving over a city, if that idea is a simple idea, I mean that's gonna be an advanced idea because you're gonna have to paint all the buildings. So, but itself doesn't need to be this massive thing. Strength strength lies in simplicity in in this instance. Like that's one thing I tried to do when I did the original competition was just come up with a clean idea, a strong idea, uh, and that doesn't mean like I have to reinvent the wheel, but like for example, I remember one topic was demon prince, so I made it into a demon princess, and and the idea was just she was sitting on stairs with two swords, and I thought, okay, how to make a cool demon princess? Make her a warrior, and the pose will be the cool aspect of the character. So I just spent time on making a cool pose, as cool as I could at that time, right? And that was all I could do, and within the time limit I had left, tried to do as a good as a render as I possibly could until time was up. The painting itself wasn't anything, like revolutionary. It was just a painting of a character that I enjoyed designing and painting. And due to that, I won that round. Just because I didn't I didn't try to make something a lot more advanced than I was able to do. I was talked about before. I was on the edge of my capabilities versus effort. So I aimed higher, but it wasn't out of my capabilities, so that I could actually execute it. And I think that's a something you guys should just think about. Is just enjoy it, right? Have fun painting it. Be comfortable. Come up with a good solution, and then just go for it. Like I posted on Discord a couple of failed attempts at the same demon prince. It was just like I had one of them was both of them were aiming too high because I had this massive battle scene with like hundreds of characters and this demon prince in the middle, and I gave up on that idea rather fast because I knew I wouldn't be able to finish it in time. And then the next one was a demon in a city, like wrecking buildings, and I was like, I'm never gonna finish that either. So I scrapped it and made a new with a demon princess sitting on a like behind it on in front of a throne, and I focused on having cool colors, like or vivid colors. That was like okay, scale it down. Hey, Captain Balls, how's it going? Jacob Mobley, yeah, but the thing is, from my example of that Forest Walker illustration I did. I mean, that alone is it's a cool painting, but if you think about it, it's nothing special. It's a guy in a forest, and then all comes down to the design and execution of the illustration. And a lot of illustrations, like a big guy with a sword, you know. But the challenge lies in how do you design the character? How do you communicate who the character is? What's the lighting? What's the mood? And all these things. So, like, come up with an idea of what you want to do. Try to break it down. What you want to say with it, and then just start constructing a battle plan how to reach that point. I mean, if we would do this Samus one as the arrival of the one, right? Samus is the one. Uh, I would try to come like beforehand. I would like, okay, I'm gonna do a great portrait of Samus, like a splash action scene, and then I would start thinking, doing thumbnails. What would be the best execution of this idea? Testing out different angles, really pushing the envelope when it comes to camera and placement and perspective, and then drawing them up so that I don't need to spend a lot of time taking them to a sketched up stage and then regretting pursuing them for this long. So just thumbnailing them out to kind of try to nail all the big elements in the painting, the main rhythm, the main position, the main somewhat the direction of how we will read it, all these things, and then find the strongest one, maybe copy from all the other thumbnails so that you can create a final candidate over the composition, and then break the composition down, uh, you know, your approach to it or what needs to be changed, and all these things, and construct the base. And then when you constructed the base of, maybe this could just be also written down. It doesn't even need to be painted or deconstructed visually. Just know what you're going to do, and then focus on just enjoying the ride, because you've already done the hard work. You've been thinking about what's the point with the painting, and then now all you need to do is be in a happy place where you can actually perform the idea. And it's going to be hard to perform it if you don't know what you're going to do. But certain artists are great at the abstraction, and that's where their comfort zone is. So that meaning, like some people just like to create something randomly and then find a reason in the randomness. That's no problem either. Hey, Martin Diego, thanks. It's just some fun little thing. Captain Bow's abstraction, yeah. So some people, that's where they are the most creative, when they can just visually search. I mean, some artists are really good at that. Like, for example, Andrew Jones, a concept artist, also known as Android. Uh, he worked on Metroid and for Massive Black, all these things. Really good artist, but his strengths, especially in his later days, or recently rather, sounds like he's dead, uh, is that he purely only shape searches. So he called it shape sifting. So he's creating these patterns, finding the pattern that he likes, and start like using the pattern to mold what he's going to create. So he's using his subconscious to dictate the flow of everything. And who to say that that's right or wrong? it's his process. That's his like sweet spot, right? That's where he is the most creative, and that's something you guys obviously can't experiment with at this state for the competition. So what you got to do for this competition is just trust what you know, and fall back into your comfort zone in the sense of approach. You know what where you have created the most interesting work. You know, like Atsuki loves pencil. I wouldn't, I would tell Atsuki, don't go to Photoshop because he seems to be really happy doing. I actually don't know if Atsuki is a man or a woman, but Atsuki seems to be very happy doing pencil stuff, and that's where he also or that's where Atsuki finds a challenge. So you know, it's there's no room for experimentation at this these kind of competitions. You gotta just do stuff where you can produce, and in theory, after the competition, you can start experimenting with techniques and do like a post mortem of what you learned and how can you apply these new techniques or ideas into your normal workflow that you kind of figured out on along the way of doing this competition. And then it's a good time to experiment. And then it's a good time to think about, you know, like what would happen if I did this, what would happen if I did that with, you know, arbitrary techniques, whatever situation you can come up with. Atsuki, are you already here? All right. Won't judge. Yeah. So, Atsuki, if you would think like, okay, I in my mind, illustration is a Photoshop, um, and I need to do Photoshop, you know, because that's what illustration is. Then you're shooting yourself in the foot, right? You have to also learn digital at the same time as creating something. Creating something simple and strong in itself is so tricky, and you don't want to um, create unnecessary obstacles for yourself in competitions, because creating something unique and interesting in your comfort zone is challenging enough, you know. So what I'm doing now uh, on this painting, by the way, is just kind of balancing out. Um, I'm painting over a lot of the things I've already painted because I want to focus on the mood. I feel like I lost the or didn't touch the mood yet, so I want to just kind of work towards the final illustration now that I established lots of shapes and so on. It's so easy to forget. So I just wanted to test something by going earlier towards final and kind of building it. Yeah. So what? So to kind of wrap up that rant about you guys having problems finding a strong idea. It's all about just figuring out what you want to say. You know, what's the if you have to boil it down, what is your interpretation of Arrival of the One? Like, I want to do an environment, or I want to do a character. For that's like step one, right? Step two is what character is it? Should I make a hero, evil thing? The environment is it you know, majestic, scary. Just trying some sort of anchor points of what direction you want to go, and and then and then do however you do art to try to capture that and enjoy the ride, have fun, challenge yourself as well, technically, but don't go outside of your comfort zone when it comes to the approach to the art, because you really gotta um, be happy and enjoying and being in the flow. You shouldn't, like, like the analogy of basketball players, right? These basketball players, they do the drills over and over and over again. They run all the time. They do passes and then they shoot hoops. Like practice, practice, practice. But you wouldn't say that they're playing a match, right? And they also do practice matches. Um, all these things, right? So they're constantly trying, trying. But when they're in the game, like finals, uh, they don't try new things, right? They just rely on everything that they drilled day out and day in, and they're just in the zone, being happy. They know where everyone else is. They know how to shoot. They've done the passing all the time, and that's how you should approach your painting as well. You shouldn't just like, oh, what if I put the ball on my head and run towards the basket? It's like, do what you've practiced and just enjoy the ride. Hey, Zirconiu, welcome. Good morning. Bruno Romanos, for the competition, it's illustration. But I mean, illustration could be a character illustration. So some people in the competition, they're happy with characters, and some people can't draw characters, so they want to obviously do um, environments. Both goes, as long as it's on the topic of arrival of the one. I want to find a nice palette. This is kind of like more what I had in mind, even though it's a little bit too washed out. Uh, but I think it's too much orange in the explosion. I went a little bit overboard with it, and it's a little bit too late to change. But something green like that, I also like. But the thing is, like, green is never a beautiful color, and I always go like, ooh, green. It's not a smart idea. That's pretty cool. Also pretty cool. Hmm. Yes, way too much orange. Need to have what was that? Futuristic bleak. Futuristic bleak. And then let's do another one on top. Let's make that one into color. And hopefully I'll find a setting that lifts the cool tones. And this is crisp winter, but it's a bit too much. This is more kind of like it. Kind of like what I had in mind, but a bit too washed out. This is too much. That's pretty cool. Whoa. So you see, it's way too much orange. It's losing the impact. struggle of making a bad move and running with it. God damn it. Typical. Typical, typical, typical. When you don't think. Even just go full on explosion. Pretty cool though. I say and add more orange. Idiot. Captain Jetlag, I have no idea if you could use your head. Hey, Tim Rimmers, thanks for the host. Hosting my last 2 minutes of the stream. Testing out, slightly twisting the grading, but it's kinda not doing what I want to do. Well, that's kind of more like it. I want those enemy shots to be violent. That's what I'm mostly focusing on now. What it did to the explosion is a bit ugly. Actually, I have all the shots saved. This right corner is a lot more what I wanted than the other. So I might be doing see, half a minute left. Troubleshooting. Don't we all have this issue? I'm thinking I should probably put a gradient in her. Yeah. So this was without touching it, and this is with grading. Not sure. Kinda getting somewhere. But I think I need to play around with the grading a lot more before I move forward. Typical. And I think also issue is everything is the same treatment. I need to separate the walls, etc. I think it'll help a lot as well. Captain Boss, yeah, definitely. I mean, the energy ball I haven't touched at all. A lot of things I haven't touched at all. Uh, but I absolutely agree. There's going to be lots of tweaking. I think I'll be working on this a little bit more on these streams, just to you know, show that aspect of working as well. you know, so that we can learn together. Yeah, she is a little bit dull for sure. I think I want to add some motion blur and effects, and also punch up her kind of juiciness with reflections and saturation. Um, but like I said, I wanted to sort out all the other issues before I started, you know, going into details and refining. Um, so what I wanted to do is just make sure that we're getting somewhere, you know, to help pop her out and all these things. But Zirconio, yeah, for sure, that would be awesome. But I think I know my battle plan. I think it's quite clear for me what needs to be done next, and that is next step is to separate the elements, like cool steel wall versus green. Um, these green creatures. I think I made a mistake at some point where I, like I said, I went too heavy with explosion grading, and it's on some layer underneath. I don't have energy to go and sort it. I probably should, just to make life easier, but I'm lazy. So I'll just work on top. Um, but thanks everyone for joining in. Have a great day. See you tomorrow morning, when I will attempt to sort this out. Um, I actually don't know if the new grading is better. It just made it less. I kind of don't know. Have a fantastic one, everyone, and man, I'm all over the place on this illustration, but I will fight through it. I will get something good in the end. I'm quite sure. I just need to think again. All right. Good luck with everyone with the competition, and see you tomorrow morning. Have a great one. Bye.
You are near the sniper zone. Move further without signal of is prohibited. Sniper will shoot on sight. Oh yeah? Okay. Cool. Peace out. Yo, what's up, Bjorn? How's it going, man? I'm leaving right now. It's my last raid. We'll see you tomorrow, bro. We'll see if I can extract from here. Actually, I can. Alright, as you can see, Tarkov is a dead game. It's one of the worst game ever. It's full field of noobs and pussies. We'll see you next time, bro. Which is tomorrow, boys. And yeah, we'll kill some of these morons that I just saw right there. Like, this kind of morons just killed the game. Alright, peace out, boys. Look at, we're gonna laugh at this motherfucker. Look at that. Patch Cooley, you're fucking a little pussy wall. That's what you are, brody. That's what you